So hello everyone and welcome to the webinar, Running a Business in Switzerland as a Digital Nomad. I'm very happy and pleased to have you here in the call. I'm going to record it, so for later access, this is also accessible on our YouTube channel. If you have any questions, please just raise your hand, write in the chat, or just unmute yourself, and you're very happy to basically ask any questions you have. So let me quickly share the screen. So here we go. Second. So here we go. You should see the screen now. And you see our presentation that we are going to do today. So the fintech startup Numarics is Switzerland's first 100% digital fiduciary solution that allows entrepreneurs basically to do their accounting independently and mobile first. In our Numarics Academy that you signed up for now, we from Numarics provide our Swiss SMEs community with financial expertise. And our goal is to make it easy to understand and, of course, free of charge. So thank you for joining. The topic today is we are talking about digital nomads. So teams nowadays can be located in all parts of the world and build great products through collaboration via digital platforms, such as Slack, Basecamp for team communication and file sharing. And when your business is registered in Switzerland, however, there is no need to be on site anymore. With Numarics, fully digitizing your tax responsibilities and other stuff is available. But this is not only about Numarics, this is basically on how to be an entrepreneur of a Swiss company, but not being actually present in Switzerland. In this webinar, I present best practices on how to run your business in Switzerland from anywhere, 100% digitally managed. So let's switch to the agenda. What are digital nomads is our first point that we are going to tackle, running a business from Switzerland from abroad, and then of course our Q&A session, which we always have at the end of our presentation. So what are digital nomads exactly? If you are interested in digital nomad lifestyle and running a business remotely or working from anywhere, what you will see in the next slides can probably help you. Here are key things you need to know about being a digital nomad. So building a remote company that runs like clockwork is super important. When looking for ways to upgrade your business, making the switch to or starting a new remote business may be the ultimate way to go. So running a successful remote business means taking the appropriate steps, such as hiring the right employees, utilizing effective sources of communication, which is super key, and of course, setting a clear plan for goals. If you are working on yourself, on your own behalf, that's probably a little bit easier because you will do it on your go. When you have employees, you just need to make sure that communication stays right up and you have certain goals and certain trackings of that. The good thing of it is that you have almost an unlimited talent pool and reduce operating costs because there are only a couple of the benefits that come with operating a remote business. And I'm going to say something about that later on. So remote companies are the way of the future, to be honest. And since our situation worldwide with COVID and so on, the number of remote workers has risen tremendously. There are even movements, especially in the US, of going away from big corporates, basically, and starting your own business, and not even necessarily even start your business in the country you live in, but wherever you want to be. This can, of course, be harder for some sectors, but in most of the sectors, it's possible, basically, to work from abroad or work remotely. So advances in technology have allowed us to forego this typical, let's say, expensive brick and mortar office in exchange for a virtual office that you can manage from the comfort of your own home, wherever you stay. The benefits of running a remote company are really big. Not only are you saving money on rent and utilities, but you're getting rid of the dreaded daily commute. You can hire employees from around the world, which lets you choose the best talent for your company. So you can just log on to your computer, send a couple of emails to your remote hires and expect your business to be smooth. No, that's not it. It's a lot more than this. And we even have people on this call who are already remote workers, and they know that it's not just dropping a mail and your business runs smoothly. It's a lot more than that. There are several aspects you have to consider when building a remote company that you never had to think about while running a traditional office or running it locally where as you know it. So how do you create a remote company that runs like clockwork? This applies to every remote company, what comes next, and what I'm going to tell you in this webinar, but it especially also applies, of course, for Swiss SMEs. The first thing you need to have is the use of the right tools. Okay, so your employees, if you have employees, are going to require access to all the important files they need to complete their task efficiently and in remote settings. Of course, they'll need to access those files from their laptops or home computers. There are several software tools you'll need to implement to have a successful remote company. You can either use Google, Office, and so on. We're all very familiar with these tools, but it's like super crucial and very, very important to have it. Some great ones include a remote conferencing software that allows you also to hold company meetings. You can perform webinars or conduct remote interviews. Project management tools let you assign specific tasks with due dates for individual workers, create workspaces for different teams where you can assign group projects. We at Numarics, for instance, we work with Jira. Jira is a product from Atlassian for the task management. And then, of course, Trello is like the smaller brother, also from Atlassian, which is very helpful in many ways, and you can really collaborate very easily. Your remote workers will be able to easily see what they need to get done in a very organized way. Another important tool you will want is a password manager. Why is that important? Password managers encrypt and store your passwords online, so you can even share them, but share them only with groups of people that you need to share them, and they can use it, and it's a very safe way to store them. If you use shared logins at your company, this tool generates secure password that will be automatically entered into login fields, even with two-factor authentication and so on. We at Numarics, we use 1Password. The good thing about 1Password is that it has a US and a European server. They are completely separated. So if you are looking for a very good data protection setting that, for instance, you like in the EU, you can have a server there, and this is really good. This is really good tool. It's also offered on the mobile phone, and on the mobile phone, it is also filling out everything that you need. It takes a little bit of time to set it up, but once it's done, you're going to have lots of fun with it. The next thing is a communication plan. So one of the biggest factors you'll be missing from a traditional office setting is the ability to talk in person to employees. We already know that because of the situation of the past 2 years, but nevertheless, you need to put a communication plan in place. So it's convenient to have a Zoom like this one or a team meeting for someone to ask a simple question. And sometimes this is just not convenient. Email doesn't quite do the trick either. So there are messaging tools. Some messaging tools even offer a virtual or for video conversation like Slack, for instance, and the talk in person is like super important. We at Numarics, for instance, we have employees that we never saw in person, but they work for us almost for 2 years right now since our incorporation. And it's really possible to work successfully, but you need to see each other from time to time. And it's important to have a chat tool to quickly drop a note where email will not do the trick. These tools offer usually a seamless way for you and your company to stay organized and communicate with each other wherever you are in the world, even in different time zones. Now it comes one of the biggest points, employees. If you hire employees or if you need help or support in some ways where you're not good at, let's say in, setting up a website, doing some translations, having some marketing campaign run, for your remote company to be a success, you need your remote workers to be successful too. So the first step to this is to hire the right remote workers. As a remote company, the pool of candidates you have to choose from is very large. You can hire anyone, no matter the country they live in, but you've got to make sure they are right for you. So you can go to many platforms like Fiverr. There are many sites where you can find remote talent to hire. Once you've got some quality candidates to choose from, interview them using video. I highly recommend it to do it via a video. Why? Because video gives you just a different, feeling, and a lot of information gets lost when it's just chat or email. And you need to make sure that they are self-motivated. Self-motivation is super important. Being self-motivated is one of the most important qualities in a remote employee because you can't constantly be managing them, and micromanagement is not the modern way of doing it. So maybe you should think about the task project, which means you give some simple tasks that your prospect employee, future employee can finish in like 1 or 2 days, and then you see what the result is and how the collaboration works. Next important topic are clear goals. So setting firm goals for each of your remote employees and yourself, of course, as well, helps everyone stay on track. So determine what your expectations are for each role, when deadlines should be met, weekly to-do lists, which you can do in Trello or Jira or any other to-do tool, and how you expect everyone to perform. One great way to quantify your goals is to use analytic tools like Google Analytics goal feature and things like that. So you can track your online performance and see where you stand. You can also do surveys, which is also very good because then you know how your employees feel. This can increase company productivity and reduce the chances of team members falling behind in meeting their personal and company goals. So be as detailed as possible with your expectations and goals. This is important, and post them where they can be easily accessed by any member of your team. Although there are bound to be some hiccups and disruptions along the way, having set clear expectations keeps everyone accountable. So you have one-to-one calls with them, but sometimes also group calls. If you combine them, it's probably the best mix because some topics are better discussed in one-to-one and some others in group calls. In the past, running an entire company from your home seemed impossible. We now know it's quite the opposite today. It's possible. And even some companies who said we cannot digitalize any further, they know now better. They got digitalized further just by simply having their employees not at hand. They needed to have a setup where employees could work from home. So there is so much new technology that allows you to create your own remote empire with only a little money to start and without ever having to sacrifice any aspect of your business. So if you follow these tips for building a successful remote company, your business will run like a well-oiled machine. Next topic are benefits. What are the benefits basically? Working remotely has quickly become a common option for both employers and employees. So there are many benefits that apply to both sides. And these are your benefits when you work remotely. For instance, you have access to an unlimited talent pool because with remote work, basically, it's not only yourself working remotely, it's also your employees working remotely from wherever they are. So you can have access to the ideal person for your team that is across the country from you. When working with remote employees, your employees will have the flexibility to work at the times when they are the most productive, which means greater production for your business as well. And one of the best benefits of a remote business, to be honest, is the cost cutting. Because remote means you do not have to furnish offices, pay the rent and utilities or for a larger office space. So these are the most important things you see here. This is mainly all common sense, what you saw here. But still, these are important points to be running successfully because a remote worker or working from abroad, running a company like a company in Switzerland is not like just hanging in a hammock with a laptop on your lap and just typing some emails. It's a lot more. And you just saw how this is run. And you can really run it professionally from the places you really like to be. So running a business in Switzerland from abroad, there are some things we need to take a look at, okay? There are some important things you need to take a look at. This doesn't only apply to Switzerland, but I specifically tailored this to the Swiss market now. So you will have deadlines with the government. Like when you run a Swiss company, you need to have tax statements, salary slips, etc., to be reported. Most of them can be reported in electronic form, but some of the things, unfortunately, still in Switzerland are being sent to you by postmail. So postmail for your company is a big thing, and it needs to be dealt with. So you need some kind of digitizer for you in Switzerland that is doing that for you, bringing actually your postmail into digital form onto your devices, preferably your mobile phone and or your laptop. You also will have post mail privately, so private mails and post mail for your company. Sometimes you also need to post something in written paper form. You know, you need to have your accounting done. The accounting is a very important part as well for your company, and some things just will be sent only in written or paper form, especially from the governments. You need to file the tax statement for your company, and you need also to file your tax statement for you privately. This, of course, only applies after the deregistration in the country. So once you leave Switzerland and go abroad, there will still be some mailings for about 1 year and up to 1.5 years. And after that, it's going to be fine because you're no longer taxable in Switzerland once you work abroad. That's one of the biggest gains, by the way, being a digital nomad. If you do not stay, nomad means if you do not stay longer than a certain amount of days or amount of months in one specific country. So basically, you will be not taxed anywhere else, but privately, of course. When you own and run your company located in Switzerland, the taxes in Switzerland still apply. So you still get some papers after your deregistration in the country, like in Switzerland, and then someone needs to handle them. Someone needs to take them, scan them, and transport it to you. Bills to pay, which will be sent to you by postmail, are also something that needs to be handled on. And the answer to all that is one of the tools. There are many tools helping you with that, but there is one tool who brings you everything together. So deadlines with the government, not missed anymore, postmail for your company, postmail privately, accounting for your company, tax statements done, bills to pay, all to the palm of your hand. This can be done, for instance, with Numarics. I'm going to show you how this runs. We have this new service now called Mail Concierge, and I'm going to show you this quickly here. So I'm going to share the screen. So here we go. Sec. Okay, so you should see this now. This is the Numarics homepage. Basically, you can log in to Numarics anytime you want through the web application by clicking just the login button, or you just basically download your mobile apps, which is available on Apple and Google Store. So if you download the apps, this is how it's going to look like. Basically, you see everything you see here is also available on your mobile phone, and then you will see everything that's necessary basically on one page. When you run a company from abroad and your company is a Swiss company, Numarics can do all the accounting for you. So you basically see your net profit, expense, income, liquidity, and everything that you need in here. You can master your invoices that you can send directly electronically via PDF to your customers. And then, of course, all the bookings are being done directly by Numarics in here. One of the most important things that you need to look at is the DocuBox. Okay, this is the document management system. Basically, you will have all the scans in here, and you will see everything that's necessary to master it. So it's your company post that gets posted and scanned directly here. You can, of course, open it. You can take a look at it. You can do something with it, right? Rather pay it or process it or print it out if you really need the paper, or delete it if you say, okay, that post is fine. I read it. I no longer need it. And then, of course, in here, we will put to you all the invoices that you need to pay. And then you have the storage box. You can search everything in here, and you can find all your documents. Plus, of course, you have the tags where you see everything that has something to do with the income, expenses, or just normal company docs that are here. So the mail concierge basically consists of everything from your company being scanned. So when you're from abroad, you will forward the mail, the post mail, to Numarics. We're going to scan it. You're going to see it in here, and you can master it from anywhere in the world. You have it on your mobile phone. We have a mobile app as well. Well, actually, it's a mobile first. So it means we first built the mobile phone, mobile app, and then the web app. So everything you see here is also available on the mobile app. And then, of course, you can send out invoices and quotes. You can send out bills to your customers and so on. So from our perspective, I think this is a really good tool to help you on how to get things done. Of course, there are other tools, but an integrated tool who does everything for you, plus the team that is behind you, helping you with things, calling up the tax authorities, speaking the language, and doing everything that's necessary, so you don't have to bother about this. On top of that, what you can do is basically check here and change the company. So this is one company here, and you can easily switch on another company here, right? I just click here, and then the docu box basically opens up here. So what you can do is with Numarics, you will have two different companies, basically your company that you run here, and the other one can be your private account with all your private mail that is being scanned there, and that you also see what's happening on your private mailbox if you still get some private emails. Okay, that's it from my side. Thank you very much for listening, and I'm open for Q&A. If you have any questions, I'm very happy to answer them to you. You could just open a microphone or just, drop a chat. So we got one question here. How does Numarics get the mail to send it via the app as a scan? So what we basically do is mail. Thank you for the question, Melanie. Basically what we do is we scan all the mail. The mail gets forwarded to Numarics. We have an office in Switzerland. And basically we do scan, and then we send it directly to you on your mobile app. Once it's scanned, you will get a notification, you will know it's there, and then you can deal with your post, and you can read it and administer it anytime you want. What you can also do is you can put some notes or give us some instructions if you need us to do anything for you. So basically all the post mail is being dealt with. I hope that answered your question, Melanie. Thank you. Any other questions? Okay. Yeah, we got another question. Can we also register a business with Numarics since we need a business address in Switzerland? So let me tell you a little bit more about that. Okay. So first of all, when you want to register a business in Switzerland, you need to be present in Switzerland first, because you need to appoint at least one person, managing director, that lives in Switzerland and is actually basically responsible to administer and govern the company. If you do not have that, or if you do not want to live or need to live in Switzerland first to incorporate the company, you can appoint someone who will act as director. Usually law firms in Switzerland offer this service. And there are some law firm companies that we can redirect to you that are offering this service and basically doing the so-called directorship. Once this company is set up, basically you will have a business address in Switzerland, right? But this business address can be mail forwarded to Numarics, or what you can also do is you can have the business address directly with us. So it's called domiciliation service. So you can have the same address as Numarics has. And if we move somewhere else, or if we relocate our offices, we're gonna just relocate your company as well, and it's going to be there. A lot of law firms also offer this service. So in law firms, you also have this possibility to actually go into a region in Switzerland where it's very favorable in terms of taxes. There are some regions like Zug, for instance, Nidwalden, up until Ausserrhoden and so on, who are very favorable for tax situation. And then you basically can, I'm sorry for that. You basically can save taxes by having your company located in a you know, let's say tax cheaper area. So the answer at all this, after all this, is yes, you can register business with Numarics, since you can actually have the address with Numarics in Switzerland, and all the post mail for your company will be sent to us, and we will take care of it, scan it, you know, talk to you, and wherever you are, you have everything at your hand, and you are totally free to go wherever you are. Another question, can you please repeat the part of taxes impacting a digital nomad? A, personal income tax, and B, company tax. Does Numarics offer tax return services for both private individual and for the company? Thank you for that question, or questions. So let me go through them. So first of all, I repeat the part of taxes impacting a digital nomad. So a digital nomad basically is called, well, there are people working from abroad, a remote worker. These are people who basically lived in Switzerland, have a Swiss company, but then decide to work from abroad, from another country, and then stay in that country. If that happens, of course, you will be privately taxed in this other country where you stay. But when you are a digital nomad, and the word nomad is like super important, nomad, of course, means that you know, hop around, you go into different locations and different legal jurisdictions. And when you do that, most of digital nomads that I know did it in a way that, you know, every now and then, after a certain time period, they switch the country to not be subject to the local company tax. So if you move around the world, you will not be taxed privately. Why? Because you don't have a fixed location, and your citizenship basically still stays with you, but you are not taxable because you basically earn locally, privately. But when you run a company in Switzerland, which makes most sense, right, that you streamline this income through your company, you of course are subject to the company tax that you are going to pay. The company tax is being paid in the region where you are located in Switzerland. There are very tax favorable locations like Zug or the others I mentioned before. And there, of course, you need to pay the taxes. So it makes sense for many companies, basically, or digital nomads, to run it through a company, because going, you know, for approaching your customers, it makes total sense to have a company instead you as a private worker. When you can do it as a private individual, of course, there is also possibility to do so. Then you will not be taxed on your income if you are a nomad. But of course, you always need to look after the specific tax rules in the countries that you are, to not be in trouble with their tax legal system. So this is quite important to take a look at, and it can be also time consuming. So the easiest part is to just streamline it through your company that you have in Switzerland, and then this is done. Another question was, how does it go with the personal income tax? Okay, this is answered. The company tax, of course, is answered as well. Last question, does Numarics offer tax return services for both private individual and for companies? Answer is yes, we do both. We do tax returns for private individuals in Switzerland, all regions, and of course also for companies in all regions. And yes, Numarics will be able to take care of your business income tax as well. Yes, we do. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay, then. I thank you very much for joining. You know, we will have a webinar every end of the month, always on the last Friday of the month, with different topics. There is a German webinar as well, just shortly at around 3 o'clock this afternoon. thank you very much for joining. It was very much fun to have you on board. And I wish you a successful and very nice week, and stay healthy, and all the best to you.